The $50,000 survey. Why you should never fight a redneck over property lines. When we first bought our 5-acre spread in rural Arizona 8 years back, we did it for the freedom. No homeowners associations breathing down our necks, no busybodies complaining about our projects, just wide open space where we could work on cars, stack scrap metal, and live without putting on airs. That was the whole appeal of moving out here to begin with. Then the new guy arrived. Last year. Some California transplant bought the vacant lot next door. At first we didn't think much of it, people come and go in these parts. But it didn't take long before the complaints started rolling in. We'd put up a single fence post near what we figured was the property line, nothing official, just a rough marker to go by. One afternoon this guy comes storming over, face red as a sunset, screaming about how our project cars were trespassing on his land. "I'll have them towed," he threatened, jabbing his finger at the front bumper of an old Chevy that might have kissed the invisible boundary by maybe 3 inches. Now, I'm a reasonable person. Had he simply knocked on our door like a normal human being and said, "Hey neighbor, I think some of your stuff might be over the line, mind moving it?" I would have been happy to oblige. But this guy? He came in swinging like we'd personally offended his ancestors just by existing. So I gave him my best country smile and said, "You know what, partner? Let's settle this proper." We hired a professional survey crew, not because we thought we were right, truth told. We figured we might be a few inches over, but because if this city boy wanted to play hardball, we'd play for keeps. Turns out we weren't the ones trespassing. He was. The actual property line didn't just give us a few extra inches, it gave us a full 20 feet into what he thought was his land. That scrap pile he'd been complaining about. Our property. That fence post he wanted moved. Our land. That patch of dirt where we parked our projects. All ours. Boy could have saved himself a world of trouble if he'd just kept his mouth shut. But here's where it gets real interesting. This guy wasn't even living on the property. He'd bought it as some kind of investment, along with a tiny cabin a few parcels down, planning to flip it for a quick profit. Meanwhile, he'd been making anonymous calls to county code enforcement about half the neighborhood, then bragging about it like he was some kind of civic hero. We caught him red-handed on our security cameras, trespassing a good 40 feet onto our land to poke around our scrap piles like some kind of deranged metal detective. When we called him out over text, he completely lost it, showed up in our front yard screaming obscenities while literally leaning against our no trespassing sign. Class act. This one, turns out we weren't his only victims. The folks on the other side of his lot run a small pig operation. Their place is messy. Sure, but that's just country living. This guy had such a meltdown about it that the pig farmer's wife wound up getting a restraining order against him. Now they're tangled up in a legal battle over a tool she built 15 years ago on what's technically his land now. But Arizona's adverse possession laws might mean she gets to keep it anyway. Karma's got a funny way of working things out. Since the survey came back, we haven't seen hide nor hair of our angry Californian. Last we spotted him, he was just standing there in his empty lot, staring at the survey markers like they'd personally betrayed him. Now we're putting up a fence. Not some nice, neighborly fence either, and ugly, no nonsense. This is where your land ends fence, right on the true property line. Moral of the story. If you move to the country, don't expect it to be the suburbs. And if you pick a fight over 9 inches, don't be surprised when you lose 20 feet. Some folks just can't help but dig their own grave. We just handed him the shovel. Turns out, when you come at the king, you best not miss. Especially when the king's got a surveyor on speed dial. The last we heard, he'd put the lot up for sale. Guess country living wasn't quite what he'd imagined. As for us, we're still here, still working on our projects, still enjoying the freedom we came for. And that ugly fence? It's become something of a local landmark, a 20-foot reminder that out here, you don't start fights you can't finish. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got some scrap metal to rearrange, right on my own damn property.